The following program is brought to you by The Bot Shop, the art of creativity.
Tonight on The Local Live, Mamaroneck Village trustee Keith Waite resigns. Check out a new segment coming soon featuring the Emlyn Theater. STEMtastic is in the spotlight. This event has activities to improve everyone's learning experience. And on tonight's roundtable, find out how comedy can lend a hand. Good evening, it's Thursday, April 4th. I'm Stephanie Yang, and welcome to The Local Live. Some breaking news from earlier today. Mamaroneck Village trustee Keith Waite, a Democrat, announced he must resign. The mayor will appoint a replacement to fill Waite's seat until this November's election. The replacement would have to run and win in November to fill the rest of Waite's term, which expires in 2020. Waite gave The Local Live the following statement.
Hello, Keith Waite. We had just learned that you have resigned as a member of the Board of Trustees in the village of Mamaroneck. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. This morning I sent a letter of resignation to my good friend the Mayor, Tom Murphy, and also to the village manager and to our clerk treasurer, formally and I guess sadly resigning from my position as trustee effective April the 23rd.
Can you tell us what's next?
Okay. The reason for my resignation is, I guess is very positive for me, is that I have been approached and offered a senior position in a company that will be based in London. So I'm moving to London at the end of April. Well, actually, I'm moving on the 23rd of April, and it's a global position, so I'll be doing a lot of traveling. So not only with the travel as well as the location in London, it obviously would be impossible for me to continue as trustee, which is a shame because I have really enjoyed what I've done in the last 2.5 years.
I guess what are some of the takeaways from this experience?
Never believe anyone who says it's an easy job and that it doesn't take up too much of your time. This is something that has been quite consuming for me over the last 2.5 years. I've enjoyed it. There have been frustrations, but at the end of the day, I felt that things have moved in the right direction. I've always said, and I'll continue to say, that I've never seen myself as a politician. I've always seen myself as a public servant. And while I could contribute to improving the quality of life of people in the village, then that's what I wanted to do. So I'm hoping when I get back in a couple of years, people will remember who I am, and maybe they'd like me to do some more public work as well.
Thank you for your time, Keith.
Thank you.
And best of luck.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Mamaroneck Village Mayor Tom Murphy told The Local Live that he will be conducting a diligent search for a replacement. Murphy added that trustee Waite was a great asset to the village and that his common sense and insight will be missed on the board. As presentations on the proposed Mamaroneck school budget continue on Tuesday, Superintendent Dr. Robert Shapps gave an update on initiatives to fight racism and advance equity and inclusion in the district. You can watch the April 2nd presentation in full at lmctv.org/videos under school board meetings. The recommended Mamaroneck school budget for 2019 to 2020, standing at $139 million, will be up for adoption by the board on April 9th. The community will then vote on May 21st. This week, the Mamaroneck Town Board considered revisions to its law encouraging use of reusable bags.
Town Sustainability Collaborative and the Town Board have been working on a reusable bag legislation for the past year, and we were in the middle of revising draft language when, surprisingly, the state budget included legislation for a plastic bag ban. The legislation is quite different than what we were drafting, and we're going to have to determine going forward whether we want to move forward with our own law or adopt the state's law as it is written. But there's some questions and confusion about the law, so we're going to sort that all out and make a decision going forward. The good news, though, is that there will be a plastic bag ban in the state of New York.
Town Supervisor Nancy Seligson says the council hopes to review a new request for proposal for the comprehensive plan next week. Due to the evolving retail environment and the retirement of owner Mary Reed, the main hosiery and lingerie shop will be closing for good this Saturday after 50 years in the community. The Reed family emailed customers with the news and shared their gratitude to the country for allowing immigrants like them the opportunity to create a business and serve New York City and Westchester County. And on tonight's roundtable, learn how NYC comedians, which includes a comics teacher, are helping the Center for Continuing Education.
Hello, I'm Sibylla Chipaziwa, and welcome to the Roundtable. The Comedy Night fundraiser for the Center for Continuing Education is in its second year. Consecutively. And that'll be held on Thursday, April 25th at Molly's. You're about to find out more about it because tonight I'm joined by Diane Cashman, who is the Executive Director of the LMCCE. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Sabella.
Comics teacher by day, comedian by night, it's Ron Nobles. And we have New York City-based comedian who is Sasha Serble.
Thank you.
I told you I was going to get it right.
You got it. Good job.
Thank you for joining me, the three of you. If you at home have any comments or questions, you can contact us. If you're watching on Facebook, you can leave a comment. Information is on your screen now. Now, Diane, I guess we'll start with you. What is the Center for Continuing Education? What does it do?
Okay, well, first, thank you so much for having us on the local live. This is a great opportunity for us. The Center for Continuing Education is a nonprofit organization based right here in Mamaroneck High School. We serve southern Westchester, Larchmont, Mamaroneck, Rye, and many other localities around in this area. We are a little organization. Our roots date back 80 years, so we've been right here in Mamaroneck for 80 years. We were created by the school board to serve the first wave of immigrants coming from the European countries that didn't speak English. Since then, we have grown. We offer classes. In 1970, we were spun off and we became completely independent from the school system. So we are completely self-financing. We don't receive any funding from the school system. And we fund ourselves through class fees. We provide more than probably 300 classes a year to our community, over 2,000 students. We're about the size, if you think about that, it's about the size of Mamaroneck High School in terms of the number of students that we serve. But we do it on a shoestring budget because we try to keep our class fees as low as possible to make it as accessible as possible to as many community members as we can. So we offer traditional continuing education like languages, ESL, arts classes. We offer back-to-work skills classes like Excel classes, social media. Recently, we've become engaged with school-age children in terms of we partnered with STEM Alliance. We offer STEM programming, study skills, college prep classes, and we also bring cultural enrichment opportunities to the local community, either through trips to museums or we invite book authors to come. We like to feature in a Notable Neighbor series of prominent locals. And so that's a little bit about who we are. And we're very, very pleased. About a year ago, when I took over the job, about a year and a half ago, I was sitting in my office looking at the computer screen in the Mamaroneck High School, and Debbie Bonetta, who works in the high school, produces a wonderful segment called Mamaroneck Minute, featuring local teachers in the high school and staff, and up pops Ron, this technology teacher who is a comedian by night, and I thought, wow, this is absolutely amazing. Who would have thought a technology teacher is, this incredible comedian?
How did you get into teaching technology and, of course, being a comedian? But we can get to that.
I don't know if you want to dig in that deep into why I became a comedian, but
not too deep. But first, I guess yes, with teaching.
So it's actually funny that I'm a teacher now because when I was in high school, I won class clown.
Nice.
Probably a lot of my teachers, if they saw this segment right now, they'd be falling over because it'd be hard for them to believe that I'm now a teacher. And, you know, I told my parents, I think in 5th grade, hey, I'm going to be a comedian someday. You know, I grew up in Buffalo, so I'm going to move to New York City. I'm going to be a comedian. And they were like, where did you come up with this? And then I just kept sticking to my guns. So my parents were like, why don't you at least go get, you know, a degree, something to fall back on? And I always just loved technology and hands-on learning. And so that's kind of how I got into, you know, being a technology teacher. And when I graduated from college, I got my first teaching job down here. You know, I lived in the Upper East Side for a long time and started doing stand-up and kind of tied it all together. So I'm excited to perform for some parents. You know, I mean, their kids heckle me all day long. Now it's their parents' turn to do it. So this will be.
How about you, Sasha? How did you, I guess, get pulled into this? What piqued your interest?
In comedy or this particular?
Well, both.
Both?
But I guess, yeah, in comedy. Yeah, let's start there.
I saw Ron was doing it, and I thought, I'll do whatever he's doing. That was basically.
That's a mistake in life.
Well, no, but I followed him, and I followed him here too. So everything is really, I'm just piggybacking off of his.
Coming full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Coming full circle. Okay, well, I guess we'll continue that conversation. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned for more of the Roundtable.
Do you need space for a meeting, conference, or presentation? LMC TV has what you need. Our 768 square foot studio space is ideal for many types of productions, readings, recitals, rehearsals, and workshops. The space has video recording capability, as well as daylight temperature lighting, green screen, and stage. 2 additional rooms at 208 and 156 square feet can be used for any of your needs. Auditions, meetings, classes, workshops, one-on-one instructions, and more. Both rooms feature video monitors with Chromecasting capability, making presentations a breeze. To reserve one or more of our spaces,
contact us at reserve@lmctv.org.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. We are now talking about the Comedy Night Fundraiser, which is in its 2nd year, partnership with the Center for Continuing Education. Ron, do you want to talk more about how you got into comedy and where we left off?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first moved to the city, I actually started doing some work at the Comic Strip Live, which is, I guess they claim it's the oldest club in the city, but they fight with Dangerfields, isn't that true?
Yeah.
So just through doing some work for that, I worked my way up. I got passed on what they call late night, and that led to getting past the pro shows, and I was actually working that circuit that I ran into Sasha, and really a lot of my closest friends now are stand-up comics. So we're traveling all over the country together. Well, Sasha, you've traveled all over the world, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Where have you performed? And yeah, if you want to talk
in
more.
English. Let me be clear. I'm not like performing in French and Spanish or anything.
Okay.
It's all in English. I don't want to like make people think I'm doing this in Japanese or anything. But
Sure.
I've performed in Paris and Barcelona, Hong Kong, but again, all in English. So.
Well, he's found out that if his audience doesn't understand what he's saying,
Yes,
he usually
it's
does
better.
the best that way.
It's better. Yes. Some places are just happy to see somebody this hairy. Like a lot of parts of Asia, this is an attraction. Yeah.
I hear you there. What about how, I mean, are your comedy styles similar? Are they different? Yeah, how would you
So
describe
actually, I
your
think
style?
that's one of the things that's interesting about the way we set the show up, and I did it similar last year. So, you know, I'm going to host again this year, but I brought all new comics that come with me. And what I really try to do is get people that have a ton of different flavors. So, you know, we've got 5 comics. Every person's going to have their own style, their own unique set. Because I think, you know, if you're going to sit through, you know, an hour and a half with somebody, sometimes if that's not your style, you're like, oh, I'm over this. So, you know, Sasha and my style is way different, but yet, you know, all the other comics have their own unique perspective. So I think there's going to be something for everybody when they come out. And we're all pros. I mean, everybody's done tons of work. Caitlin was just on the Colbert show, right? John Ivorone, who's coming down, performs all over the place as a big-time headliner. Eric Newman, who's coming, was he had the #1 album on iTunes for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really accomplished guys. Ryan Brown, who tours all over and does big comedy festivals all over the place, is coming up, originally from North Carolina. So he's going to give you that southern perspective. And I think people from Larchmont are really going to relate to, so that should be good.
I can't wait. It was so much fun last year.
Yeah, it was, and it's going to be a cool show again. And like I said, all new comics. So if you came last year, come back out again this year, and you're going to get a whole new feel out there. Still laugh, though. Still laugh.
Yeah, it's going to be a city quality show right in your backyard. So.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, instead of taking the trek into New York City to see these guys, they're going to be right here.
Right here, ready for you.
Ready for you.
Aside from Ron being involved in this, what made you want to participate
Ron.
in this, Sasha?
Ron made me want to
Aside
participate.
from Ron.
I've always been dedicated to continuing adult education. Like I said, we talked earlier, I consider half of the population functionally illiterate.
Right.
And I would think that they should get continual education, So I'm dedicated to it, and if there's anything I can do beyond this show to help,
Thank you so much, Sasha. I really appreciate it.
Well, and like Sasha, we were talking about on the way up here, like love stories have happened because of night school, right?
This
Like,
is
think of Twilight. How are you going to meet a vampire? I mean, you'd have to go to night school to meet
Exactly.
them, right? So all you ladies out there that are looking for that great love story,
Twilight,
you're going to have to come to continuing education to meet that person after the sun goes down.
Yeah, because I mean, the dark undertone of this whole segment is the hookup culture that happens at night school. I mean, this is before the apps. This was the only place.
Oh yeah, adults were involved, hopefully consensually.
Yeah,
I hear
obviously.
you.
Yeah, but it's very easy to make that transition from a pottery class to you want to get a drink, So that's another reason to join. I think beyond.
Absolutely.
Expanding the mind.
Sasha is
I think you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a little flavor of what's going to happen. But no, Sasha makes, it's a point he's making, but actually it's one of the points we emphasize a lot, in this increasingly techno-driven world. Sorry, Ron. Coming to Continuing Edge is an opportunity for people to actually interact with each other, make eye contact, share a joke, smile, talk. That's one of the very important aspects of the Center for Continuing Education. It's even more important now than it was pre-tech, in my opinion.
And robots are coming for your job. Everybody knows that. So you might as well continue the education.
True. How did this partnership come about?
With Ron
you
and
said
the center?
You saw him on the computer, on a profile, and then how did it get into a fundraiser?
And they reached out to me and they said, hey, can you help us out and raise some money for this? And I thought about these poor finance guys working in that live in Larchmont, that you're going to need some life skills later here in life. I thought I want to do all I can to help this organization raise some money. So I jumped right on board and got after it.
Okay,
since you said
that, why do we actually even need to run a benefit at the Center for Continuing Ed? Well, over the past 80 years, over the past 10 years, our community has really changed demographically. We have a big chunk of the community that is able to afford our classes and comes to our classes, but increasingly we noticed that there were, particularly with the school-age children, there were families that couldn't really benefit from the classes that we offered, even though we really negotiate very competitive pricing. And so just this year, I'm glad you brought that up, just this year we launched a scholarship program.
Right.
And we're really proud of that because it's the first time in the history of the organization that we've done that. And we have offered 18 scholarships this year in between fall, winter, and spring. And in spring, just for the first time, we've expanded those scholarships to adults in the community that want to take our skills training courses to go back into the workforce. So we're really pleased that we can do that. And the only way we can do that really is through benefits like these. And so we're so grateful to Ron and to Sasha and to the comedians that are coming out here from New York to support us, because really without the support, this is really the only benefit we do. Every year, and it was so successful last year that the community came back to us and said, please do this again, we'd really love to do it.
Awesome.
And we've already sold half of our premium seats, which is amazing, so
all right.
Buy your seats, people.
All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned for more of the Roundtable.
LMC TV Media Center is the spot for your next party. Lights, camera, liftoff. The possibilities are endless. Space adventures, video gaming, whatever they imagine, LMC can achieve. Kids of all ages have fun making their own videos in our professional TV studio. LMC TV is the perfect spot for your creative kid to celebrate with friends and make a memory that will last forever in video. Party themes can range depending on their desire. Fun news shows, music videos, stop motion, overall silliness, our cameras can capture it all. Contact us to book a party today.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back. We are here with 3 people who were involved in the comedy fundraiser on April 25th for the Center for Continuing Education. And I wanted to ask about who you're partnering with. Molly's, why are you holding that event there yet again? If you want to comment on that, yes.
Yes, sure. So when we were first thinking about Comedy Night the first time around, we were trying to think, we wanted to keep it local, and we wanted it to be in an environment that was a little bit, it was a benefit. We wanted it outside of our normal space that we typically use. And Molly has a very good setup for us, and as a nonprofit and a local organization, they were willing to work with us. So that we could hold the event there, and it was absolutely fantastic. So the ticket price actually covers this amazing performance with these New York City-based comedians, as well as dinner at Molly Spillane's, and then we have an open cash bar. And the wonderful thing is our very generous sponsors, Julia Beefy Sotheby's, are our premium sponsor, and so most of the proceeds that we raise will go directly to the programs and the scholarships that the center offers. So it's fantastic. It's just, it's got, everything just kind of came together. It's a great partnership all the way around. And we love that Ron is a teacher in the school system helping a local organization, and we love that he brings in his friends, and we really love that he has really funny friends. So it's great.
That is great.
It's perfect.
How did you guys, get into comedy? What was that moment, I guess, one day that hit you? It was like, Eureka.
All right, dig in on this one, Sasha.
I was thinking about this. It doesn't...
Yes, Mr. Sorbo.
It's hard for me to answer this question because I don't really believe in free will.
Okay.
So I don't know, why do we do anything is sort of the question I ask myself when you ask me that.
Why do we do anything?
So you're still going with this question. All right.
I want you to talk.
I don't know. I think frankly, it's because I liked it my whole life. Since I was a kid, I liked stand-up comedians. And one day I decided to try it. And just to throw it back to continuing education, if you decided to try pottery and you liked it your whole life, see, great things can happen. So take a class. That's what I did. I took a comedy class.
Do you have a favorite comedian outside of Ron?
It's hard, like, next to Ron, he shines so bright. It's hard to see any of the other surrounding stars, you know?
I don't even take you with me everywhere I go, Sasha.
What has it been like getting ready for 3 weeks from now? Do you have any preparation?
For us, I'm planning on, like, right before I get on stage, writing down my jokes. That was my plan.
Very much stream of consciousness. No, I think most comedians have a set, and they're working on, and you leave like, I mean, I don't want to take away from the surprises of it, but a lot of it is prepared, and then you leave some time for improvisation, and that's
I think because I'll be hosting that day. So really, your job as a host is, and I come out, being a teacher in the community, I'm going to be pretty, tame, if you will. But I will come out and just feel out the audience for different types of humor and what they're kind of into. And really, the comics will be backstage watching the hosts, watching the early comics, and kind of adjusting their set to what people are really into that night and what they think is funny. So most of our jokes are, pre-prepared. But obviously, during your set, you'll talk to the crowd, and if you can think of something funny to come up with at that time, and that it's going to spark with the crowd, you use it. But the comics, and the later you go on the show, it's the advantage you have, right? Because you're like, oh, they're into this, they're into this. So comics are kind of constantly changing their set for, what this audience is going to be into. And
can you draw any parallels from being a comedian to teaching?
Well, I'm a middle school teacher. I don't know how last time you've been around middle school kids, but they are a way tougher crowd than the New York City comedy audience. I can tell you that right now. But no, I mean, really, my teaching style is I'm messing around with the kids. I'm trying to have a pretty good time with them, and I think that's so key. Even in education, like your teachers that really had the biggest impact in you, I bet they used a lot of humor, in their instruction because it keeps you going, it keeps you halfway awake. You're making kids sit here for 40 minutes or whatever it is.
Or
so
people,
I think it's changed. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, really. So I do think it's an important aspect to teaching.
Great. So, Diane, like you had mentioned earlier, operating on a shoestring, I'm sure this is a great creative way to tap into some funds. Would you agree? I mean, has this always been a way that the center has tried to raise more money, or?
No, in fact, typically the fundraising and the Comedy Night fundraiser, we launched it last year, and we are not the kind of organization that we have typically done a lot of fundraising, but when we spun off from the school system in the 70s, we had to be self-financing, and then about 10 years ago, we were required to pay for all of our space everywhere that we use that. And it's just very, very difficult to keep up with costs without raising class fees to the point that you're really excluding people from taking the classes. And so really fundraising is the only way to be able to do that, to be able to offer the high quality classes and experiences that we offer at prices that make it as affordable to as wide a range of the community as we possibly can. And then on top of that, we really do need to be offering scholarships to people that need them, and so that's another reason that we need to hold fundraisers now.
Right.
It's a new era for us.
It is. Well, thank you again for joining me. The Comedy Night fundraiser will be held again Thursday, April 25th from 7 to 10 at Molly's. You can visit the website of the Larchmont Mamaroneck Center for Continuing Education, which is lmcce.org, for tickets and more information. Thank you so much, Diane, Ron, and Sasha, for joining me tonight. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more of The Local Live.
Join in the fight against pancreatic cancer. Get inspired by patients, survivors, and loved ones who are on the same journey. Together, we will raise awareness and funds and honor everyone impacted by this terrible disease. Research remains our best strategy. There has never been a more exciting time in pancreatic cancer research. There are new treatment options on the horizon, and an early detection test is in development. But with just a 9% survival rate, we need to do more. Unfortunately, pancreatic cancer is on the rise. More than 56,000 Americans are projected to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2019, which is an increase in diagnoses from last year. Pancreatic cancer is the third leading cause of cancer death in the United States, surpassing breast cancer, and is expected to be the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States by next year. Let's change these numbers and bring hope to pancreatic cancer research. In memory of my wonderful mom and also all the others affected by this horrible disease, please join me and the Lustgarten Foundation at the 10th Annual Westchester Pancreatic Cancer Research Walk at Rye Playland on Sunday, April 28th. 100% of every dollar raised goes directly to pancreatic cancer research. Register today at lustgartenwalkwestchester.org. That's LUSTGARTEN walkwestchester.org.
A new approach to learning and problem solving with the use of technology and engineering is in tonight's Spotlight. Aurora Folks brings us the best from STEMtastic.
Hello, today we're here at Homix Middle School for STEMtastic, an event curated for family and friends of all ages to come together to take their love of learning to a new level.
Getting students involved in core school subjects isn't an easy task. Having them enjoy it so much they'd spend their Friday night immersing themselves in it is unheard of. That is until the creation of STEM Alliance, a nonprofit organization that takes a hands-on approach to problem-solving and learning through the use of science, technology, engineering, and math.
We believe in really making sure that all children have a lot of ways to interact with STEM learning, because that is connected to the jobs of the future, which bring an aspect of higher employability and higher wages for kids, and it's also just a lot of fun.
Like, it's demystifying these areas for kids. Like, a lot of times we didn't have access to this, and now this is giving equal access to kids to try all kinds of different things and realize it's not that hard and it's really fun.
STEMtastic offers visitors over 25 unique experiences, ranging from running robotics, herbal garden growing, to 3D toy printing. Each interactive activity showcases a fun way to use STEM skills, such as weaving plastic bags together to create mats for the homeless community.
The rugs are for the homeless because, like, they sit on the ground and they need something comfortable for them. What we really use is plastic bags. All you need to do is plastic scissors and brooms. Yeah.
Fellow STEMtastic participant Rachel Patrick also volunteers her STEM skills in creating wooden tables for her community, in addition to showcasing team support.
I learn a lot of great skills that I can use, even outside of robotics or this project. Things like teamwork and how to make sure getting things done, and so the whole experience is really great to. Yeah.
My 13-year-old's exposed to all this cool technology that I didn't know when I was a kid. So I think it's great. She's way ahead of where I was, super.
Also taking time to reflect on the importance of STEMtastic's 6th annual festival is Westchester County Executive George Latimer.
Very exciting. You're looking at a way to make science, math, engineering, technology fun. Do hands-on things, have fun with it, and learn at the same time.
Tonight has been such a fantastic night filled with fun and learning. We look forward to seeing what comes next with the STEM Alliance. This has been Aurora Folks reporting for the Local Live.
Here's what's happening around town. Seniors in the community are welcome to attend a free law asset protection seminar on Saturday, April 6th at 11 a.m. Learn how to protect your assets from nursing home costs and more at the Mamaroneck Library. You can still sign up for the Kick In to Stop Sarcoidosis Walk and Roll at Mamaroneck High School on Sunday, April 7th. Pre-registration and check-in will begin at 9:30 a.m. and the walk will kick off at 10:15 at the high school's track field. Fine art, jewelry, antiques, and more. You can find all these items at the Clark Auction Gallery in Larchmont this Sunday, April 7th at 10 a.m. Bid on your favorite piece of art from home or in person at this special event. The town of Mamaroneck is holding an informational meeting on the commuter parking study on Monday, April 8th. The meeting will take place at the Town Senior Center located at the 1288 Boston Post Road at 7 p.m. and is open for public comment.
LMC Cast. The whole system is fine. All right, cool. I definitely would recommend doing podcasts if you are someone that likes to get something off the chest, or you want to just talk about anything in the world that just might interest you. Podcast here at LMC TV is amazing.
I hope you're listening out there.
LMC TV would like to thank local artist Jamie Lynn at Made, an art studio in Mamaroneck, for creating a beautiful community mural. Place your piece in this mural by contributing to LMC TV, the community connection that brings you local board meetings, varsity sports, and your local news. Please contribute to this community mural by going to our website and clicking on Donate. Each contributor will be listed next to the mural when it is complete. We value your appreciation of what we do. Become a single donor or as a group, go to lmctv.org. The only piece missing is you.
Coming soon is a new segment by Coyote Howard, who you may recognize from Scriptly Adapted here on the Local Live. He brings us upcoming highlights from the Emlyn Theater in Mamaroneck.
I'm Coyote Howard, and I'm with the Local Live here at the Emlyn Theater. On today's episode of Coming Soon, I'll be interviewing David Schwartz,
and Elliot Fox. Stay tuned.
So if you want to just let us know what some of the audience can expect as far as what we can see
Sure.
this coming spring.
Well, the Emmeline has a great film club that's been running for 14 years. And what it consists of are screenings of new independent and international films. These are films that are going to be opening in the theaters, but the audiences here get the first chance to see them, before they open in theaters.
Very nice.
And there's always a discussion with the films, either with people involved with the films or experts or people associated somehow with the movie.
Fantastic.
And what's exciting about the club for the members is they don't know what film they're going to see before they show up. So they show up and it's always going to be a surprise, but it's always an important new film. And then we're also kicking off in May a Sunday morning club as well.
Oh, great.
Now the club has been growing over the years. It tends to sell out. It's very popular. And a few years ago, the Emmeline invested in a state-of-the-art film projection system. The Emmeline is now equipped, just like a commercial movie theater to show the new releases.
Oh, that's great.
So the picture looks great and the sound is great. So they made that investment in film, and so it's a great fit to have this film club.
Very nice.
We also have, in addition to film, the Emmeline is one of the more diverse presenters in Westchester County. We do all genres of music. We have our dance program starting next week, actually. April 6th is the first of the dance series. It's a program called Dance Off the Grid, which presents 3 current dance companies out of New York City. Very exciting, very interesting stuff, and you get to talk with the dancers after that. We have one of the longest running bluegrass series in the Northeast, heading into its 38th season. John Pizzarelli will be here in April. Trio named Red Molly, which is beautiful harmonies of this band. We also have Norm Lewis, Broadway star, who'll be here in June. Cab Calloway is coming. It's just a really interesting range of world-class arts that we've got going on. Check the website. You'll see when any of these events are playing between now and the early summer. You can purchase tickets online. That's the simplest way. If you prefer to stop by the box office, we have limited box office hours each week.
The best advice was to do it soon because it gets filled up. Last year we had the movie Can You Ever Forgive Me and RBG, so audiences got to see those before anybody else. So just get your tickets soon.
I should have got my tickets a couple of weeks ago.
I'd like to thank my guests again, David Schwartz and Elliot Fox, for joining me here at the Emmeline Theater. Stay tuned for another episode of Coming Soon on The Local Live.
Westchester County launched its Recycle Right campaign on April 1st, which will continue until Earth Day on April 22nd. Improper sorting reduces how much the county gets for selling its recyclables, especially with recent stringent requirements set by China, the world's largest importer of such materials. Here is a clip from the first county video on commingled items.
I'm here to talk to you today about recycling commingled recyclables. Commingled recyclables are your glass, plastic, and metal recyclables that you put curbside, and they're predominantly food and beverage containers. The first thing to remember when you're recycling commingled recyclables is to make sure you empty out any residual liquid that still might be, or food that might be in the containers. Next thing is to rinse out the recyclable and make sure you can get it as clean as possible before you put it in the bin. You want to dry it as best you can, and then before putting it in the bin, if you have the cap, you can always replace the cap before you put it into your recycling. Now, ceramic mugs are not considered a commingled recyclable. If you're disposing of ceramics, they should go in the garbage. Most important thing to remember, never package your recycling in plastic bags. Plastic bags are not a recyclable in Westchester County. You can save your plastic bags and bring them to large retail centers. There are several throughout Westchester that accept them for recycling, or you can simply dispose of a plastic bag in your garbage. One other thing to consider, gable top milk and juice containers, they should also be considered commingled recyclables and included in your commingled bin. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you for keeping Westchester green.
This week in sports, the Rhinebeck boys lacrosse team hosted Pauling in its home opener. Early on, with just a 1-0 lead, junior captain Max Thurer turned some defense into instant offense in the LMC Varsity Sports Play of the Week.
Ground ball picked up by the keeper, Gino Rena, the freshman. He tries to clear it up the field. It's intercepted with a one-handed catch by Thurer. Thurer faked the pass, he shoots, and he scores! Max Thurer. The steal, the fake, the shot, and the goal. 2-0 Rhine-Eck.
Also this week, Mamaroneck High School recognized 33 student athletes moving on to play sports at the collegiate level. The athletes represent 15 different sports, including 6 boys lacrosse players, 4 football players, 3 field hockey players, and 3 softball players. Congratulations to all of you.
Do you have a news tip? Seen anything interesting around town? Is there breaking news in your community? Send your videos, comments, pictures, and tips to the Local Live, your news source of Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
Remember, if you missed Thursday's live broadcast, you can catch replays of the Local Live twice a day on this channel and find story clips on our YouTube channel. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on things you may have missed. Thank you for watching the Local Live. I'm Stephanie Yang, and have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
The following program is brought to you by The Bot Shop, the art of creativity. If you are interested in sponsoring this or other programs on LMC TV, contact us for more information.